Hello. So today here I have my trusty Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, and I've got a little project I want to do here today. It's not going to take very long. I want to get it to automatically and continuously back up all of my media from Instagram. So whenever I post a new video or a new photo on Instagram, I want it to automatically back it up into a directory on my Raspberry Pi, and I want to kind of automatically have it doing that in the background. So I just released an open source app that helps you do this, and hopefully this video demonstrates how fast and easy it is to get it set up even on something like a Raspberry Pi. Okay, so now I'm on my Raspberry Pi and I want to get started. So the first thing to do is go to github.com/ericflow/mediasummon, and if you scroll down, there's some installation instructions right here. And so we're going to open our console and we're going to go ahead and kind of follow these installation instructions. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and copy this download link, and oops, we've got to copy it and then paste it here. And instead of having, it wants us to do the AMD 64, we're actually going to do ARM 7 because we're on a Raspberry Pi. And so this is going to download the executable, and it's about a 20 megabyte executable, so it shouldn't take too long. And then when we download it, we're going to actually make it executable, and then we're going to run it right away. So we'll do chmod +x mediasummon Linux ARM7, and now we're going to run it, mediasummon Linux ARM7. Okay, so, and we're going to run it with an admin command if I follow the instructions right here. So first of all, it can't find the admin site, so it has to go ahead and download that first, but it finished doing that, so we can go ahead and check it out. So if we do that, we'll see that we go to localhost 5000, and everything is actually already set up. So we're running our mediasummon server already, it's already working. And so as you can see, we're syncing all of our files to home pi mediasummon, and then we have the ability to connect to any of these services right here. So now that we've got this working, I actually want to set this up more permanently so that it runs when the Raspberry Pi starts up. And then I also want to make sure that it's sort of configured so that we can access it from anywhere in the network, anywhere that we can hit raspberrypi.local. So to do that, the next thing we need to do is create a systemd unit file. And so this kind of tells us that we need to create a systemd configuration in this file right here. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to stop this. Let's make sure that it's not running. If I hit refresh here, it's not running, so it's definitely stopped. And now we're going to go sudo nano, and we're going to edit this file right here. And so I'm going to just copy this and paste it actually. If I copy this and paste it in here, in fact, I'm actually going to skip ahead a little bit, and this tells us that if we want to set up some environment variables, this is how we do it. And in our case, we are going to want to do that. So I'll just go ahead. So one thing that we have to do is in this example, all of the username things are sort of capital username. It's ready for being replaced. So on our Raspberry Pi, our username is Pi. So we're going to go ahead and change that everywhere. The user group is also Pi, so we're just going to conveniently change that. So we want to keep it at 5000. The example was telling us how to go to 5050 just as an example, but we want to leave it at 5000, I think. And then our access URL is going to be raspberrypi.local:5000. And then to start it up, we want to make sure we're pointing to our real binary that we just downloaded. So that's going to be in home pi mediasummon Linux, and not AMD 64, it'll be ARM7. Okay. And so once this is all done, it says that it's going to start it up on port 5000 whenever our computer starts, and we're going to hit Control-O to save. File name to write, that's correct, and Control-X to get out of here. And then what we can do then is this tells you right here, the next thing to do is sudo service mediasummon start. We'll just copy that and paste it right in. Now, since we don't know whether that worked yet, we can either try it to access it locally, that's one thing we can do, but we could also do sudo service mediasummon status. And this tells us that it's active, it's running, there were no problems that I can tell from this, and it looks like we're good. So in that case, let's go ahead and, we could refresh it on localhost 1000. I'm going to do that to show you that it works. But what we really want to do is do raspberrypi.local:5000. This is how we're going to be accessing it from the rest of the network. So let's access it like this all the time. So I happen to already be logged in, so I'm going to just show you that mediasummon and admin, and if you do that that's the default username and password, so you'll be able to log in just like that. So now we want to actually go ahead and sync these up and set up our connection and our interface. So before you can download your photos, you actually have to set up an Instagram app. And so to do that, we'll follow this link right here. I already am logged in just to make things easier, but it wants us to fill out these few things. So the application name is going to be, I'll go ahead and type in mediasummon Raspberry Pi. The description will be something like mediasummon running on my Raspberry Pi. Company name is, I'll just put my name. You can see that I already tried this out. My website URL, I'm going to put in raspberrypi.local. This makes sure that whenever I'm talking to this, it knows that it's talking to my device on this particular app. Now the most important part is this valid redirect URIs. And the nice thing here is that the app actually gives you something to copy and paste right in here. Privacy policy URL, we're just going to make one up. This doesn't actually exist. It doesn't really matter. This is my email address if you want to call me, or sorry, if you want to email me. Here we go, we can register, and this is where we get our new application. This is mediasummon is what I use for my other stuff. This one is the one that we're going to use for the Raspberry Pi. So we go ahead and we click manage, and we get these two pieces of information here. Now, if we go to our mediasummon website and we click on configure Instagram, we get conveniently these two exact same things. So the client ID, we're just going to copy that and paste it. And now the client secret, we're going to copy that and we're going to paste that as well. And so this gives us the sort of the basis for how we're going to grant access. But now it's telling us that it looks like your permission is required. We now need to grant this application access to access our account. So if we click that, grant permission, it's going to say, hey, do you want to grant mediasummon Raspberry Pi the access to do these things? Well, of course, mediasummon Raspberry Pi is me, so I'm going to allow it. And if I hit authorize, it goes ahead and it redirects back to the raspberrypi.local. Instagram has started to sync. It's downloading right now. And if I open up my folders right here, and I go to mediasummon right here, it's got a organized list of all of my files. So 2019, last time I posted on Instagram was in March, but it looks like I've got my selfie. That's real great. Okay, so hey, this is actually already working, and it's going to automatically sync, automatically in a day. Now, if you want to sync it right now, you can just go ahead and click sync now. It's going to go and run. It found that there were no new files, and so none were downloaded, and so we're good. So if you want to go ahead and do those with Google Photos and Facebook Photos, you can do that as well, and it's going to continuously keep this directory up to date and in sync. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you like this and use this on your Raspberry Pis. Let me know if you don't or if you do. This is Eric signing off. Thanks.